How are you doing today? I see. I hope by the time you leave this session, you feel even just the littlest bit better. And I dare say, I think you will. So, tell me a little bit about what it is that I'm seeing you for. Okay, so we've been having some issues with the back. And what particular part of the back? Just kind of, yeah, that's pretty common, yeah. And anywhere else that you are having pain, lingering tension, tight muscles, anything of that sort? Okay, well, we'll definitely take a peek at everything before we work on any area. Now, tell me what you know about the Dorn Method. Not too much. Okay. If you don't mind, I'd love to tell you a little bit about its history, its background, and how we can use this method to help you. Wonderful. So, the Dorn Method was formally founded by a man named Dieter Dorn. And this was developed in the 1970s in southern Germany. So the story goes that Dieter Dorn was working in a sawmill that his family owned and suffered an injury. And he wasn't really sure where to get this taken care of at, but he ended up going to a man named Josef Müller. And after a little bit of adjustment and having Dieter move around while he was being adjusted, he felt completely healed after that. And Dieter was pretty intrigued by the techniques that Mr. Müller had employed. And Mr. Müller said that it is something he can easily do himself. There's not really a lot of learning to it. However, when Dieter Dorn went back to try to ask more about the techniques, he found that Mr. Müller had passed away. So all he really knew was that Mr. Müller had found these methods from another farmer that he had met. So there was a bit of this exchange of folk healing methods. So we don't know where exactly this developed. All we know is that it was all put together, all these different techniques, into a formal system by Dieter Dorn. So what the system actually is not so much a treatment per se, but more of a demonstration with some treatment elements. It's kind of similar to chiropractic, kind of similar to osteopathy, except that we are not actually manipulating the body. What we are doing is creating the conditions so that the body can rebalance its own joints, its own self. So I am essentially teaching you how the body can heal itself, and you can have that knowledge for yourself if you feel any sort of pain and want to address it. So we start out by doing the treatment lying down. We also will do it standing up and sitting. The Dorn Method can be used on everything from the entire spine to the ribs, the AC and SC joints. We can use it on the fingers, the thumbs, elbows, shoulders, all over the body. And what we're going to start with is working with the hips. So I am going to give you a moment to just lay back and get relaxed. And we're going to start by looking at the lengths of your legs. Okay, so I'm just going to pop on my glasses so that I can see you much better. And we're going to look at the lengths of your legs. Now, most people have uneven leg lengths. Some reasons that this could be occurring is some of us cross our legs a lot. Some of us favor one side over the other. So oftentimes the pelvis, the hips, which should be straight up and down, will take some sort of tilt, and that way the lengths of our legs get just a little bit different. So we're going to take a look at your legs. So I'm just going to lift it up. Okay, good. And is this comfortable for you? Okay, there's no pain. Good. With the Dorn Method, this is meant to be a completely pain-free method. So if at any point there is any pain, do let me know. So we're going to start by working on the legs a little here. I am going to be moving your legs, and we're going to be putting some counter pressure on the hip joint. So I'm going to move your leg so the knee is at a 90 degree and the hip is also at a 90 degree angle. And I'm going to put some counter pressure right here on the femur. So this is just the top of the thigh. And I'm going to put a little bit of pressure there, and then we're going to straighten the leg. So I'm going to put pressure, and then we're going to straighten here. Just like that. Okay? Super easy, but this will give the body some room to rebalance that joint. Now I am going to have you inhale as I am putting you into position, and then I'm going to have you exhale as we straighten the leg. So you could just inhale for me. Good, and exhale. Good. Inhale and exhale. Okay. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Okay, and exhale. Now we're going to do a little bit of passive movement here. So I'm going to be having you just push against me here while you are straightening the leg, so that you can really feel what exactly it is that we're targeting, what muscles are moving, what the joint is doing. So then you'll be able to recreate that when you do this at home. Okay. So if you could just straighten the leg as you're pushing against my hands. Good. And we'll do that again. Just a few Good, and one more. Move the leg, 90-90, and then press against my hand. Good, right. And now we can do that on the other leg as well. So I'm just going to adjust the leg here. I'm going to provide the counter pressure, and we're going to straighten the leg. Good. Right. So now when we pull the leg up, we're going to inhale, and when we straighten, we're going to exhale. Go ahead and inhale. Good, and exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. Good. And exhale. Good. And let's do that again, but passively. So I'm going to have you pull your leg up. I'm going to just place my hand here. I want you to push against me. Straighten. Good. And I'm also going to be sending you home with some self-exercise guides. So even though we're going through all of this right now, you don't need to remember everything. I'm not going to leave you hanging. One more time. Just push against my hand, and very good. Okay, let's take a look at leg lengths. Okay, that definitely looks a lot better. Now this time we're going to be working on the knees. So there's going to be a little bit of kind of awkward positioning, I suppose, where I'm going to have one hand underneath the knee, one hand on top, and they're both going to be pressing down a little bit. So I'm going to be doing this counter pressure here, and I want you to just straighten the knee, okay? I'm going to just work this and straighten the knee. Good, okay. So we're going to do that while you are inhaling into position, and we'll exhale and straighten. And go ahead and exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. We're going to do that more passively. So you're going to be pressing in to my hand as you're straightening out. Good. This is how the body wants to move. But for one reason or another, it may not have the ability until we come in and give it a little bit of re-education. The other side, going to lift the leg here and put our counter pressure on the knee. And then we're just going to straighten that out. Good. So we're going to inhale into position. Good. And exhale. Straighten. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do that more passively. So I'll have you just, there you go. And then I'm going to just put my hand here and you're going to press against it as we bring that down. Good. Getting the hang of it. It's really quite simple. Just need a little bit of direction and need to know what it's supposed to feel like. There. And then we can bring our joints back to their healthy, flexible state. Now let's work with the ankles a little bit. So I'm going to be supporting the ankle and using my counter pressure more on the heel here. So we're going to be pressing back and we're going to be moving the foot up and down. Okay? So I am just going to press and then we're going to straighten it down. Right? So if you could just inhale for me. Good, and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Straighten it out. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So let's do that more passively. And you're going to press your foot into my hand. So we're just going to get in position here. I'm going to put my hand right here. And I want you to press against me and straighten the foot. Good. I'm just going to press here. You press against me, straighten the foot. Good. And one more time. That you really feel what the mechanism, what the action is. And then we can work on the other foot. So we're going to support the foot, provide the counter pressure, and then we will just straighten the foot. Good. So I'm going to have you inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now, passive movement. Get your foot into position. My hand comes right here. I'll support you up here. And when you're ready, just straighten the foot. Good. And again, just straighten the foot. Okay, and one more time. Just going to straighten the foot. Wonderful. So, we've worked the hips, the knees, and the ankles. Now, I am going to have you move to a standing posture. And I'm going to have you face away from me so that we can look at the sacrum all the way up the spine, right? So I'm going to give you a moment to get up at your leisure, of course. I don't want you to get woozy, and I will meet you in just a second. So while we're in the standing position, we're going to be treating the pelvis, the sacroiliac joint, the lumbar and lower thoracic vertebrae. So we're going to start by examining the hips and the sacrum. So I am going to be palpating from the tailbone up, and we're looking for any imbalances in the structures. Just working way up, and then I'm going to work L5 up to T8, getting real close to the spine here, feeling all the little transverse spines, and even the little knobby ones that stick out at the back. And we are comparing each side to the other. Just seeing where we could benefit the most from some rebalancing. Good. So, I am going to just press right here with the full span of my hand. And I'm going to wrap my arm around your front so that I'm not pushing you over. So I'm just going to bring my hand in front, and then I am going to have you just swing the opposite leg. So my hand's currently on the right side. I'm going to have you swing your left leg back and forth. If we could just do that a few times, and I'm going to provide the counter pressure here. Swing the leg back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to readjust, and then we'll go back and forth and back and forth. Good. And down a little bit further, back and forth, back and forth. And does any of this bring you any pain at all? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Back and forth, back and forth, all the way down, back and forth, and back and forth. Good. Now I'm just going to switch sides here. So my left hand goes on the back, my right arm comes around in front, and then you're going to be swinging the right leg back and forth, right? So I'm going to provide the counter pressure and press in. You could just swing the leg back and forth. Good. Just keep doing that. Back and forth. And I'll adjust a little down. Back and forth. Back and forth. Good. There we go. So you may notice that when you leave the session, you might feel a little sore, almost as if you had done a little bit of working out. And that might continue for a couple of days. If it does persist, you're more than welcome to come back and we can address that. But after everything heals back the way it should be, we're reducing inflammation, then your body will move much, much better. It'll be a lot happier for it. So now I'm going to be just pressing in with my thumb. We're going right at the spinal column here. And if you just want to keep moving this right leg back and forth, I'm going to be working up the spine, and then we'll switch. Just as you're swinging your leg, just going to be pressing in, providing that counter pressure, and working my way up. Good. Okay, now if we want to switch, I put my thumb down here and wrap my arm around your middle here. If you just want to swing the left leg back and forth. Good. There we go. Gently work up. This method of self-exercise and demonstration is so very gentle to the body. So very gentle. There's really no risk involved because we're never going to be in a position where it causes pain, because if it does, we stop immediately. Good. Now I'm going to be sliding down the spine, and I want you to just keep swinging the leg back and forth. We're just going to slide down to rebalance. The other side. Okay, when you're ready. Good. Okay. I am going to have you move to the sitting position. This is our last position, and we can use this to treat the thoracic spine, the cervical spine, and we can also additionally get into the shoulder, the elbow, the hands, the fingers, the thumb, sternoclavicular joint, acromioclavicular joint, the ribs, and the TMJ joint. Those ones are more advanced, and that's more of a supplement. So we'll be mostly working on the spine here. So I'm going to give you a moment just to get into position, and I will see you real quick. Okay, so I'm going to still be working behind you, and we're going to take a look at the thoracic and the cervical spine. So your thoracic spine is right here, the chest. So you have posterior chest, and then we get into the neck. This is your cervical spine. So I am just going to be checking for any imbalances in the vertebrae here. Palpating each vertebra. And then when we do our movements, you are primarily going to be swinging your arms. And we'll do a little bit of head movement as well to help realign that joint. Sliding my fingers up and down here. Good. Okay. So I'm going to brace you here right at the shoulder line, just like I did when we were working on the low back. So I'm going to be pressing my thumb right in here. And I want you to this time swing both arms at the same time, okay? So I'm going to gently work up the spine. And I just want you to swing the arms back and forth. There we go. Swing the arms back and forth. Good. So we're going to do this on both sides. And then I'm also going to be having you do this passively as well. Just going to slide the thumb down. Okay, and move to the other side, pressing in. Just keep swinging the arms back and forth. Good. Allow me to just apply the counter pressure. We can realign the joint. Sliding down. Good. Now I'm going to have you lean back against my hand, and I'm going to have you keep swinging your arms, and we're going to move up. Just keep pushing back. Can you feel how the muscles and the joints are working as you're pressing against my hand here? And keep pressing. I'm going to slide down here, down the side of the spine. Good. Then we're going to be working on T2 up to C6. So you can stop swinging your arms, and I'm just going to palpate in around these vertebrae. Feel for any imbalance. Now, when I'm going to press my thumb into the spine here, I am going to have you swing your arms back and forth. I'm also going to have you turn your head side to side as well, almost as if you were shaking your head no, okay? Try to do that as best as you can, side to side, while swinging your arms. Right, so I'm going to press in. Just keep the movement here. Good. Really, you're doing all the work here. I'm just more facilitating the balance. And this is something that you can do to fortify the health of your joints and fortify the health of your body as well. When we work with the spine and resetting all the structures, you may find that some of your other health issues may abate or disappear completely. Okay, and just keep shaking your head and swinging your arms as I work the other side. Okay, and you can stop shaking your head, but to do this passively, I'm going to have you press against my hand here. And if you could continue to swing your arms. Okay, just keep swinging the arms, press against my hand. You can feel what all is moving here. Good, just keep swinging the arms. And now we're going to be really getting into the neck. So for the neck, I'm going to be pushing my thumb in at a 45-degree angle. And you're going to be moving your head from side to side. So we can let the arms rest. It'll just be your head. So let me press my thumb in here. And if you could just move your head from side to side. Good. Very good. Just keep doing that soft motion. Good. Now to do this passively, I'm going to support your head and I'm going to use my fingers up the neck and you're going to press back against me while you're doing this side to side head shaking. There's quite a bit going on, but I'll be able to keep your head from being pushed forward. You just need to press back and keep shaking the head, okay? We'll run up the neck, and then we'll be working really into C2 and C1. Just going to switch sides. Keep shaking your head and pressing back against my fingers here. There we go. Now C2 is also known as the axis, and it's right here on the head, so not quite up to the occiput, not too far down, but right in here, right below like the mastoid process area. So I'm going to press my thumb in, and my thumb's going to be at a little bit of an angle more towards the tip of your nose. And I'm just going to have you shake your head back and forth. Okay? And we're going to sit here for just a little bit while I target the second cervical vertebra. Okay, and the other side. Just keep shaking your head back and forth. Good, and then passively, so if you could just push your head back into my finger and I'll just support you here. Okay, and then if you could just shake the head back and forth. Excellent. There we go. Good, good. So for the atlas or C1, I'm going to be pressing in, and this time we're also going to do an up and down movement. Switch it up a little bit. So from the mastoid process here, right here, I'm going to be pressing in, and I want you to shake your head from side to side. And then if you could go up and down. It's real slow, real gentle. Okay, the other side. Shake the head back and forth. And then move up and down. Wonderful. And do a little bit of passive movement. So if you could press back against my finger here, and then do our head shaking back and forth, up and down. The other side. Press against my thumb and shake the head. And then up and down. Good. Good. Right. So I am going to come back in front and we will go ahead and finish up our session then. Wonderful. So how did that all feel for you? trust there was no pain? Wonderful. So what I'm going to do with you next is I do have your email. So I'm going to be sending you a copy of a bunch of different exercises to do. So we have some for the hips, the sacrum, the knees, the ankles, all the way into your back. There's quite a few different creative ways of doing this. And all of these exercises, depending on the kind of them, they're either done at least once a day. Sometimes they're done 2 to 3 times a day. And we could do with another 1 or 2 sessions, just depending on how you feel about your pain levels. And if they are pretty much gone after this one, we don't need to do another session. But if you want to keep going, we can. And we can work on some of the other joints as well. But the bottom line is you now have the tools to be able to take care of your own joints and your own body. So do you have any questions for me at all? Yeah, I'll send all of those information sheets to you via email so you don't have a whole stack of papers to take home with you. Right. Wonderful. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me for this Dorn Method session. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I create primarily medical, alternative medicine / pseudoscience, and personal attention ASMR roleplays. If you want to check out a specific category of my videos, my channel playlists have everything from sci-fi to historical to even fantasy videos. If you want to support my work, consider checking out my Patreon profile in the description box, where I offer early access to videos, exclusive content,